Most beginner editors think video editing is about creativity. Transitions, cool effects, cinematic color grading, but here's the uncomfortable truth. You can learn every transition pack on the internet and your videos can still feel amateur. Why? Because professional editors don't start with creativity, they start with structure. In fact, almost every great edit you've ever watched is built on 6 invisible technical layers. And if you don't understand these layers, your videos will always feel messy, slow, or confusing, even if you use the best software in the world. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 6 technical layers professional editors rely on. These layers work whether you're editing YouTube videos, Instagram Reels, ads, documentaries, or even films. And once you understand them, editing becomes 10 times easier. But before we begin, here's something important. Most beginner editors struggle with one specific mistake. They open their editing software, drag some clips onto the timeline, add random cuts, throw in a few transitions, and hope the video somehow becomes good. Editing doesn't work like that. Professional editors actually follow a hidden process. And that process starts with layer 1, timeline structure. This is the part beginners usually skip. Before professional editors start cutting clips, they organize everything. Every asset gets its own place. Main footage goes into something called A-roll. A-roll is the primary footage, usually the talking person or the main subject of the video. Then you have B-roll, which includes supporting visuals. For example, if someone says, "I started editing videos in my bedroom," the editor might show a clip of a messy desk, a laptop, or someone working late at night. That's B-roll. But the organization doesn't stop there. Professional editors also separate music, sound effects, graphics, captions, and exports into different folders. Why does this matter? Because imagine editing a 20-minute video with hundreds of clips and everything is randomly placed. You would spend half your time just searching for files. Organization may not look creative, but it saves hours of frustration. Even the timeline itself is structured. The main footage usually sits on the first video track, then B-roll appears above it. Graphics and captions appear on higher layers. Audio tracks are also separated into dialogue, music, and sound effects. This system just makes editing faster, cleaner, and easier to revise later. And if you've ever opened a messy timeline and felt completely lost, you already understand why this matters. But once the timeline structure is ready, the real editing begins. Layer 2 is cutting mechanics. This is where the rhythm of a video is created. A lot of beginners think editing means cutting out mistakes, but professional editors cut for a completely different reason. They cut to control attention. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone explaining a concept on camera. If there are long pauses between sentences, the video will feel slow. So editors remove those pauses using something called jump cuts. Jump cuts make the video move faster and keep viewers engaged. Another technique is called a J-cut. A J-cut happens when the audio from the next clip begins before the video changes. For example, you might hear someone start speaking and then the camera cuts to them a moment later. Your brain processes that transition as smooth and natural. Then there are beat cuts, where the editor aligns visual changes with the rhythm of music. You see this all the time in montages. Every beat triggers a new shot. But here's the interesting part. Sometimes the difference between a good edit and an awkward one is just 2 frames. That's literally less than 1/10 of a second. Professional editors often zoom into the timeline and adjust cuts at the frame level. Because timing is everything. A perfectly timed cut feels invisible, and when cuts are invisible, the audience stays immersed in the story. But editing isn't only about when things change. It's also about how things move, which brings us to layer 3, motion and keyframes. If you've ever seen a video where the camera slowly zooms in even though the footage was static, that motion was probably created using keyframes. Keyframes are points on the timeline that tell the software how something should change over time. For example, you can start with a normal shot and slowly scale it up to create a subtle zoom in. Why do editors do this? Because small motion keeps the frame visually alive. Imagine watching a talking head video where nothing moves for 10 minutes. It feels static. but a slow zoom can make the scene feel dynamic without being distracting. Now, before we go any further, let me share something that's been helping me a lot behind the scenes. You guys know I test editing tools all the time, but figuring out what videos to make next is often the hardest part. That's where Nexlev comes in. It's this AI-powered platform that helps you discover the best YouTube niches and topics based on real data, not just guesses or trends. I've been using it to track what creators are doing around editing apps like CapCut and Premiere, and honestly, it's been a game changer. It shows where the real audience demand is before you even start filming. Nexlev hooked me up with an exclusive 20% discount for my community. Just use the code or hit the link in the description. If you're serious about growing on YouTube, this tool will help you plan smarter and create content that actually connects. Again, that's Nexlev, and you can use my code for 20% off. Keyframes are also used for graphics. Think about captions that slide onto the screen, or arrows pointing to something important. Those movements are controlled with keyframes. But there's a trick professional editors use. Instead of making motion linear, they add something called easing. Easing makes animations start slowly, speed up, and then slow down again. This mimics how objects move in the real world. Without easing, motion feels robotic. With easing, it feels natural. Small details like this are why professional edits feel smooth and polished, even when viewers don't know why. But motion alone doesn't make an edit look professional. Then there's another layer that shapes how every frame looks: visual design. Think of the screen like a canvas. Everything on that canvas affects how viewers process information. For example, where the subject is placed in the frame matters. Many editors use something called the rule of thirds. Instead of placing the subject directly in the center, they position them slightly to the side. This creates a more balanced and cinematic composition. Then there's typography. Captions are incredibly important today because many people watch videos without sound. But captions must be readable. Professional editors choose fonts with strong contrast and clear spacing. They also keep captions within safe zones, so platform interface elements don't cover them. Color also plays a major role. Different cameras capture colors differently. One clip might look warm, another might look slightly blue. Editors fix this using color correction. They balance exposure, adjust white balance, and maintain consistent skin tones. This makes the video feel visually cohesive. But beginners often make a mistake here. They add too many effects or too many overlays, too many color filters. Professional editors usually follow a simple rule. If an element doesn't improve clarity or emotion, it doesn't belong in the frame. Which leads us to a layer that many editors underestimate. Layer 5, sound engineering. Bad audio can ruin a great video. In fact, viewers are more likely to tolerate mediocre visuals than poor sound. Professional editors start by cleaning dialogue. They remove background noise, balance frequencies, and ensure voices remain clear. Then they control audio levels. If one sentence is loud and the next is quiet, it breaks immersion. Editors keep dialogue consistent so the audience never has to adjust their volume. Music is also carefully integrated. Instead of simply lowering the music volume, editors often use audio ducking. When someone starts speaking, the music automatically lowers. When the dialogue stops, the music rises again. Sound effects add another layer of depth. A simple whoosh can enhance a transition. A subtle impact sound can emphasize a visual moment. Even quiet background ambience can make scenes feel more natural. When sound is mixed correctly, viewers don't notice it consciously. They just feel more immersed in the video. And once visuals and audio are complete, the final step begins: export science. I know this might sound boring, but it's extremely important. Export settings determine how the final video actually appears online. Professional editors choose their export settings based on the platform. For example, many videos are exported using the H.264 codec, which balances quality and file size. Bitrate also matters. If the bitrate is too low, the video becomes blurry. If it's too high, the file becomes unnecessarily large. Some editors even export YouTube videos in 4K resolution even if the original footage was 1080p. Why? Because certain platforms apply better compression to higher resolution uploads. This can make the final video appear sharper. Exporting is the final step where all your previous work is preserved, and when it's done correctly, the video maintains its quality across devices and platforms. So when beginners ask, how do I become a better editor? The answer is not learning more transitions. It's mastering these 6 layers: timeline structure, cutting mechanics, motion and keyframes, visual design, sound engineering, and export science. These layers form the invisible foundation behind professional editing. Once you understand them, you can edit almost any type of content. But here's the interesting thing. This is only the technical side of editing. There's another entire dimension we haven't even discussed yet. Things like psychological pacing, storytelling rhythm, and viewer retention techniques. And those concepts are what separate good editors from truly great ones. So if this video reaches 500 likes, I'll make part 2 where we break down the advanced psychology of editing, because that's where things get really interesting. Until then, remember this: editing isn't just creativity. It's controlled creativity built on strong technical foundations. Master the foundations, and your edits will instantly feel more professional.